Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Emily, and today we are going to be talking about the books that I read in week 2 of the Classics-a-thon. So, this week was a little off because it was also Bingo-a-thon this week, meaning I focused on my Bingo-a-thon books more than I focused on Classics-a-thon. So for week 2, I read 2 books, which is a little bit fitting, but hopefully for week 3 I won't only read 3 books. But anyways, I'm going to talk to you guys about those 2 books today, and let's just get right on into it. The first book that I read is Tuck Everlasting by Natalie Babbitt. This book was one of my all-time favorites when I was a kid. I read it multiple times for book clubs and for class projects. I even wrote short stories based off of this book. I loved it so much, and I loved it just as much when I reread it. This book follows a young girl named Winnie. She's 10 going on 11, and she stumbles upon this spring, and these people are drinking about it. These people are drinking from the spring, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna do that. And they're like, no, don't, you'll live forever. And she goes, pardon? So basically this family drank from a spring, the Tuck family, and now they're gonna live forever, can't die. They've tried shooting themselves, they've thrown themselves out of windows, like, they will not die. And Winnie kind of gets wrapped up in their story, and I always loved it. I even used to think of it as a love story when I was little, but now it's kind of creepy that a 17-year-old proposed to a 10-year-old. Like, even though there was no, like, physical contact, like, he wanted them to get married, and I was like, But it is a really interesting, fun story. There were a lot of plot points that I completely forgot about. Like, there is a murder and a prison break in this book. It's like 100 pages, and I was like, so much is happening. But I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it just as much as I did when I was a kid. Even more now that I could appreciate some of the stuff as I'm older. And I do still have the same feelings about immortality, which is that, like, I don't want to die. So it's a very relatable book. I think the ending is so beautiful, and I just love it. The other book that I read is an audiobook that I listened to, and that is The Curious Case of Benjamin Button by F. Scott Fitzgerald. As you guys know, I love F. Scott Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby. It's just my love. So I decided to pick up this audiobook. It was only like 67 cents on Audible, and I was like, that's a very cheap price. So I got it, and it was really, really good. It's only like an hour long, and it's basically about this person, Roger Button. Roger Button goes to the hospital where his wife has given birth, and all the doctors are like, ah, get away. And he's like, what do you mean? Like, is my child born? Do I have a son? And they're like, kinda. And he goes, what do you mean? And then he goes into, like, the room where all the babies are laying in the bassinets, and there's this old man in the corner, and they're like, that's your son. And he goes, pardon? And they take this old man home, and they, like, try and, like, play it off like, this is our 10-day-old son, and they're like, that is an old man. But as their child, whom they name Benjamin Button, as he gets older, he actually, like, ages down, so, like, by the time he's, like, super, super, super old, he's, like, a baby. So it was like, he's like lives his life in reverse, and it followed him as, like, he went to school and he fought in the war and he got married, and it was just so weird. And I always thought that Benjamin Button was a bear that was born to them, not an old man, so I was so confused. But I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was really good. It's F. Scott Fitzgerald. Like, I'm not going to give anything he writes under 4 stars, I don't think. Prove me wrong, F. Scott Fitzgerald. But yeah, it was a good book. And that is it, since I only read 2 classics. I'm hoping to read a bit more. Now that I've read Tuck Everlasting, I have 3 down on my list, so I have 9 classics to go and 10 books if you include My Plain Jane. So sound off in the comments down below what you guys want me to read next from this list. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and make sure to hit the subscribe button down below if you want to see more of what I'm doing. Happy reading!